Hello, guys. Welcome, Collective. Right after I finished one of my audience sites, side note, they have been taking forever to upload, but I do understand because some of them are just not tailored to Collective, which also doesn't make sense, anyways. But hey, here we are. There is a hierarchy, nonetheless. So, with that being said, I'm not 100% sure why this message will be tied to the other one, but I was tuning into the meme. I'm not going to do music channeling, even if it's attuned to it. But what you guys see on the title, basically, okay? And let me read it. It is the meme that goes like this. If you're black, nothing for you. But if you're white, there is something for you. Okay? White is right and black is wrong. Now, I know for a fact there's a lot of racism, prejudice, colorism, injustice all over. Okay, some parts more than other. And there's also hidden racism, colorism, injustice, racism all over. Is it tied to this? Probably. Okay. So I don't know if it's like a race against another race based on the meme in itself, or if it's like colorism within it, where it's like you guys are from the same tribe, but somebody is lighter than the other, because that's also a thing. Or if it's just plain prejudice hidden or in plain sight. Um, this is something that's in the have always been in the air. I did mention it before, heavy on when prior the Olympics starting, where a lot of things that are hidden in plain sight is going to be more in the open. Okay, and one thing that is quite the norm in freaking Sweden, okay, especially in the south of Sweden, is hidden racism. Okay, um, and if I were to compare me and some of my former friends, a lot of them were aware of this hidden racism, blatantly have had racism in their face. If I'm gonna compare their life story to mine, I didn't either grow up the same way, okay, or see it in the same way. Only when I was older, I realized that things that were hidden wasn't hidden anymore. Okay, this could be a revelation for some of you guys as well. Now, because I live in this space and grew up in this space, I am talking from that. Okay, but I do see what's going on a global scale, whether it's energetically wise or not. Um, I know it's a thing where it's a lot of vocalization that takes place, especially in northern parts of the world. Okay, um, so something of this nature is going to take place or is taking place. Somebody's also pressed. Okay, I don't know what else to say. This meme came up. Okay, it's like there is a okay stamp for white people, but if you're black, there it's a no. Okay, and everything else that I mentioned priorly, it can be tied into racism, tied into colorism, and tied into prejudice. Okay, something of this nature, and somebody is pressed. Okay, should I give an example? I feel like that kind of makes sense though. I don't know what else to say. Like I feel. I feel like it's not bigger than that because these three isms has always been around. It's just gonna be more seen. Now, in my case, I just can I let me see. I wanted to share like some of my personal experience, but apparently it's not relevant to this insight. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Um, it is sad that things are the way they are based on the isms, and unfortunately, it seems to be and it's going to be worse. And I just I feel like there's gonna be just a lot of division, a lot of division, um, more so than ever. And I don't know why. Like I was tuning into it before, but now I'm seeing kind of the signs on my local news about like prepping for emergencies. And I want to mention it in here. I had my speculation at the beginning of the year that the way the country I grew up in is heading in a direction that might not benefit everyone, and it might lead to war. I'm just going to be really honest about it. A country that is supposed to be in a neutral stand is going to be partaking, it already are, but it's because of the resources, it doesn't affect the population depending on what you're speaking of. Yes, they're increasing things and inflation and things cutting down. But I don't know. Like I want to go in with an example. One of it is like I want to say so much, but like whatever I started off on, it's that in a lot of places where you just like what the heck, but it's gonna be shown in plain sight and division. Um on playing field. And I don't want to be pessimistic. I have been tuning into this message for a bit. Okay, especially listen. Thank you for stopping by, Collective, and you know, be united with the people that are united with you, and try to see it from a bigger perspective. But you understand when it's not easy to see it from a bigger perspective. Understandable. Um, and I also do understand if people are keeping watching me based on what I do say or keeping tracks on me because of what I do say. Uh, However, if it's people that I have let go from my past, you have no access to my life. Okay? And if you do, when I say karma will knock at your door, I do mean that. So, um, with that being said, thank you for stopping by. Um, and the side note for the people that try to steal from me as well, um, everything will always be sorted out in divine timing. Um, there was like a period of time, and I have to say it. Fuck it, let me just share. It has to do with how I look, okay? I might not look natively Scandinavic, but I'm still born and raised there. And I relocated to an area that's a lot of influx of different individuals. Now, I wouldn't really expect it, but it's so interesting because I've been in places where I am the minority and I didn't experience things of this nature. But when I moved to a place where I'm not a part of a minority in the eyes of people, so my second link to that would be because of my energy, because of how I carry myself, because I'm not supposed to carry myself in this light, in this vibration, based on my skin color. And that's what it is. I'm not supposed to have the energy about myself because of how I look, because generally the people in my minority, it's not high vibrational, which is sad. So I got people that's not part of a minority, but they are maybe not the same skin color, but they're treating me differently in the same place where the minorities are supposed to be unified, or whatever. They're treating me like a minority, like I'm not supposed to deserve or be in this state of high vibration, not supposed to be successful. Their perception of it, their projection of it, right? Um, I went to purchase a few things. I don't really, that's not my cup of tea, but there was this coffee shop that was very close to where I live. And whenever I go to a place that doesn't have a lot of minority, I get treated much better than if I'm in a place where there's a lot of minority. So, two times back to back, money was taken from me, and they thought I wouldn't notice because or care because I am a minority, right? And if I were to speak up, it's kind of like, well, because you're a minority, because your skin color, we don't really put that extra care, that extra love. But if you are lighter, whiter, of course, we're going to pay attention, right? And it's kind of weird how it happens. You would think it would be the other way around, where it's like if it's a less minority, I'll be treated this way in terms of discrimination. But it happens more for me on a personal note in a space where there's more minorities, okay, of different kinds. Uh, and it's usually people that are not native at all that treat me some type of way because of my skin color and because of my high vibration. Okay? So that is my own personal story. I know that was extra. I know that was a lot. For some of you guys, it could be the other way around that I was talking to you about. For my own personal reference, in terms of like prejudice and colorism and all the isms that I mentioned, I'm very familiar with the colorism. I'm very familiar with the discrimination. Um, I think I talked about it, and I had this when I was like um, um, trying to like fix my life or get a job in the 3D, and the quote unquote handler that I had that haven't even been in Sweden for 10 years, okay, they were very discriminatory against me. They talked about my skin color and they said, they were curious about my hair. And they were making remarks against other African countries, though, in a weird way. Not in a weird way, because on paper, you can clearly state where I'm from and how I grew up and how I carry myself, because you can hear it in my accent. There's a different type of accent. And an immigrant carry a different type of energy than somebody that is natively born somewhere, okay? So it was basically somebody that wasn't even born and raised in this country that was treating me like a foreigner based on my skin color when they clearly, when it should be the other way around. And I remember when I got this new position, and she was supposed to like supervise, it didn't make sense to a lot of people's eyes, whereas like I'm in the position that I'm at, and the person that hasn't even been in Sweden for less than 10 years would have broken Swedish, have the upper hand, but they did because of their skin color. Though this is not to complain. I got the apology. Um, I was I talked to their boss, because that whole setting was very unprofessional. Like, how you gonna help somebody and then you start being curious about their background, but you're not even born here? Like, that doesn't make sense. So that is an experience that I'm familiar with, is always with, again, people that are in a majority place. Never, for me, like a native Swedish, okay, with blonde and blue eyes, is always somebody that's like coming into the country, they live here, such and such, but because of the color of the skin, if they were to assist me in some way, it's like I'm the immigrant, okay? It's horrible, but that is my experience. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to share that. I know, obviously, you guys can click off, but there's something of this nature going on, but on a much more deeper scale than what I experienced. And I feel like it's almost going to be the norm. But you don't have to make it a norm if you stand up for yourself, because, again, I got an apology. I'm not somebody that's about to take some shit, because I'm not an ignorant individual. And they know that. Um, so, for the rest of you collective, anyone that's in this space, make sure that you have community. And if not, make sure you stand on business when it comes to you and yourself. So, with that being said, thank you for stopping by, and stay strong.